Hey there, Richard from No Pants Profits, and welcome to this very controversial video. Now, I want to tell you, I worked on cruise ships for 7 years in the IT side of the business, so I do know what I'm talking about in IT, and I do specifically know what I'm talking about in cruise ship IT. So we're right now on the Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady. I'm up on the running track. No, I don't run, but this is where we're going to get started today. Now, why are we going to start here? Well, because up as high as you can go on the ship is generally where they will put the antennas for one of the most important things for people staying connected to technology, which is the Wi-Fi. Now, cruise ship Wi-Fi back in the day, literally, when I used to go on cruise ships, the Royal Caribbean ships back in the day, they actually had dial-up in the cabin. You could use dial-up internet in the cabin. And it's gone so far nowadays that cruise ships are actually built in the yard with very specific mounting points for their Wi-Fi systems. And if you ever see these, that is exactly what they are. So you see these big white balls? There's these 3 big white balls. Those are actually the Wi-Fi system, the satellite antennas. They're satellite dishes that move around inside of those big balls. They can move a full 360 degrees, and that's what they do. And that's what their purpose is. They run the internet, they run the phones, they run the app. We'll get to that in a little bit. They run internet, phones, app, everything of that sort. But I guess here's where the perspective comes into play. Virgin does have the best internet at sea. And the reason they have the best internet at sea is twofold. Number one, they pay for it. Number two, they don't have any legacy systems. What do I mean by that? Well, if you go on a Carnival ship, Carnival's got some ships floating around. I actually went on the Carnival Conquest a few weeks ago. Carnival's got some older ships sitting around that have legacy systems, older tech that's sitting around. And newer Wi-Fi slows down older tech. Virgin was built in the last few years with a perfect tech stack. So you can put the fastest Starlink internet or whatever on the world on a ship, but if it's running old tech, you're just taking lipstick and you're putting lipstick on that pig. Here's why Virgin works. Here's why Virgin's the best. On their Scarlet Lady right now, they have what's called O3B, or other 3 billion. It's a specific satellite technology designed to connect the other 3 billion people that can't get satellite. Now, this came along before Starlink was available. So they built all these dish platforms. They have O3B. O3B is the second best satellite provider after Starlink. Starlink is still the best, but O3B is the second best. Now, the Valiant Lady actually has Starlink on it, but they do still have the O3B dishes. I'll be on the Valiant Lady in about a month's time from now. Here's the important thing. You do have some bigger ships on the Royal Caribbean side they have O3B as well. They're starting to put in Starlink. Number one, they have a lot more people. Number two, they have a lot more legacy systems. Virgin's whole goal is just connecting you to the internet. They don't need all these booking systems and everything like that. Instead of having stuff that connects to every travel agency in the world, like Royal Caribbean, like Carnival, like Norwegian do, Virgin does everything web-based and relies on the internet so much, so they just put it out. Both guests and crew can get internet for free. Now, I will tell you, Virgin does have a higher tier internet that they charge an extremely respectable price for. It's like $10 a day. And it's very fast. It's just like being at home. This is going to be, I think this is about my 30th day on a Virgin ship. And I love sailing Virgin because I can work just like I can from home. I do get the higher end internet package. Lets me connect up to 3 devices at about, for the nerds out there, it's about a 10 megabit by 3 megabit connection. So it's a pretty good connection, 10 by 3. I can upload these 4K videos and everything. Now, the other cruise lines don't provide as good of a connection because, very interestingly, they can't afford it anymore. I used to work for a cruise line that lines with Celebrity. They can do that. And they started giving everybody free internet or building free internet in the cruise, and they couldn't afford it anymore. So what they did is they went to a revenue sharing agreement with the internet provider and said, we're going to give you some money if you give us service. And that's pretty much what every single cruise line has done. But the Wi-Fi being built in on the Virgin ship is not a byproduct, it's a marketing expense. So their marketing team, their advertising team, is actually paying and subsidizing for this service so that it is a unique selling proposition for their brand. The Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi hardware and everything, the whole infrastructure, is the best on sea at Virgin ships, hands down, period, no discussion, come at me, bro. But they have great Wi-Fi access points, they have great systems. This system's going to be upgraded to Starlink, they told me. But that's the really cool thing, is that it's all really high tech, really up to date, works really quickly. Now, I do have some other things that I'm a little bit more critical of. Let's talk about those now. Hey, I'm actually on the elevator on my way to shoot the next shot, and I wanted to show you they actually have screens in the elevator, and they will use these screens to tell you where to get off the ship, to say bon voyage and everything like that. And when they're not needed, they're just really cool fish projections right there. So they have screens in the elevators that give you information. Pretty cool tech I've not seen before, unlike, where Royal Caribbean just puts the day of the week on the elevator floor. Yeah. All right, so next up on our technology review, I want to talk about the Virgin Voyages app. Let's be brutally honest, it is a garbage fire. We are at sea today, and being at sea today, it says we're in Bimini. Yeah, day 3, Bimini. We're at sea, says we're in Bimini. But let's talk about why it's an absolute garbage fire. I think this is important to understand why the app is an absolute garbage fire. Here's the whole story. And I know the whole story because someone who used to work with me actually went over and worked on the app for Virgin. Here's the whole story to it. The Virgin app is bad because the people who built the Virgin app no longer have anything to do with it. Here's what happened. There's a company out of Orlando called the DeCurtis Corporation. And Virgin was one of their first clients. So they built the app for Virgin, as it was designed, it was working pretty okay. Pretty all right. And then what happened? The pandemic happened. And DeCurtis Corporation actually went around and sold some tech that they made for Virgin to everyone else. Now, in the days before the pandemic, remember you used to do lifeboat drills and you'd have a couple hundred people show up to a single lifeboat station at a time, and that's just not something that could be done. So they created something for Virgin when Virgin was going to sail that would allow you to check in at your lifeboat station at any time. Well, cruising was starting back up after the pandemic, and Royal and Carnival and Norwegian all went to the DeCurtis Corporation and said, we want that same tech. And they got much deeper pockets than Virgin has, so they left Virgin in the dust. The Virgin app does not work well at all. It crashes, it crashes, it crashes. It's bad. It's just not very good. It's a bad app. You cannot connect to other sailors on board other than make dining reservations. There's no chat function. There's nothing like that. If I want to connect to another sailor, I gotta have them find me on sailor/passenger. Passenger is what they call sailors or guests on board. I've got to go and get them on Facebook Messenger, get them on WhatsApp, add them on iMessage, add them on different things, and I've got to juggle 20 different apps instead of having the Virgin app just do its thing. For a lot of people, the Virgin app is an absolute disaster for bookings. When I came on board the first day, it's the worst I've ever seen. There's about 1,900 people on board, slightly less than 1,900 passengers on board. This can hold 2,400 passengers, depending on the capacity in the suites. But there were lines upon lines upon lines upon lines to get restaurants and shows booked because the app just doesn't let you load the restaurants and the shows. I think that's the main logic, is the app just doesn't let you load the restaurants and the shows. I was very fortunate. I've dealt with this app enough. I've been on board enough that I kind of know how to play with it, how to massage it. But every guest I've talked to that I've said about the app, they say the crap. And I think the most important thing is people are never educated on how to use it. So not only is it bad, people don't know what they can do in it. And by the time they figure it out, guess what? Everything's sold out by the people who already know what's going on board. You have to book anything other than dinner for your nights you're on board. This is a 4-night sailing. To book anything other than dinner, you actually have to be on the ship Wi-Fi or on the terminal Wi-Fi. And I have a feeling, this is a feeling, intrinsically they hold a lot of these reservations, they hold a lot of these bookings for the suites because that's where the guests are actually paying the most. So, okay. But, for the commoners, you can't book a reservation. I have Valiant Lady sailing about one day less than a month from now. So today is the 4th of October. I'm sailing on the 3rd of December. I've got Valiant Lady booked there. I can't make reservations for anything. Everything's completely sold out. There's a couple dinners at 9:45 at night, but it's all completely and totally sold out, and they can't fix it. And that goes for the guest app as well as the crew app, which we'll talk about in a minute. On Virgin, here's a weird thing. You never want to order a double because the app that was built is so bad, they never programmed in a button for a double. So if you order a double, they just charge you for 2 drinks. It's bad. you just want to make sure you get stuff booked. You want to book your Virgin Cruise 2, 3, 4, 5 months before, and then 45 days out, it's going to open up. You need to get on that night. You need to book everything. Now, I will tell you, their customer service is pretty good at their restaurants. Very keyword. If you don't get into a restaurant, or I'll give the entertainment. I've never been turned away from a restaurant, from a show, or from a fitness class. Never been turned away. I'm a fatness class, but I've never been turned away from one of those for not having a reservation, because they know the app is trash. They truly do know the app is a raging dumpster fire. And I went down to guest services the first day, and they, like my Spider-Man shirt, everybody just pointed at each other and blamed each other. And then I finally found the IT guy, and he just threw his hands in the air and said, I can't do anything. Because everyone's saying, oh, it's the app that's not working, and they're saying it's the bookings that's not working, and guest services can't do it. So it's all like my Spider-Man meme of everybody pointing at each other. But yeah, Virgin, fix your app. From an IT guy's perspective, the right answer is to just give up, take that app, build it into a web app that works on board, you hit an onboard server, and you do it. But the important thing is, the company that built Virgin's app has kind of gone on to bigger and better companies and left Virgin in the dust. All right, back to something positive. I want to talk about something that Virgin used to do before you got on a cruise, now does it for most people at the terminal, and it's these things right here. These are the C-bands, and they seem a lot more innovative than they actually are. Really, all they are is an RFID hotel room key that's put into a convenient package. Now, when I sailed for the first time, they actually sent me a band, and you can see, if it's focused, that band says Richard on it. Nowadays, if you are not in a suite, you actually don't get a band with your name on it. You'll get it at the terminal, and it's a cost-cutting measure. Okay, but this band is how you check out, you ring out, you don't have to sign any checks, you don't have to do anything like that. This is how you earn points in the casino, how you open your cabin, how you get on and off the boat, how you do all those different things is with this band. Nothing super innovative. Royal actually sells these for kids and for big kids like me, for adults. They'll sell them on board for like $5 or $10 if you want them on their bigger ships. But Virgin gives everybody one of these. The thing is, you can actually, if you're old school, you can actually get a normal room key as well. All the crew members don't wear bands. They actually have a normal piece of plastic that has the same tech that's inside of here. I've been using the same one for the last year. My last Virgin cruise was exactly a year ago. My first Virgin cruise was exactly a year ago yesterday. So, I've been using this same band for about a year. There's no Bluetooth, there's no Wi-Fi, there's nothing like that. Any of the cooler tech they're saying, the shake for champagne and all that, actually just uses your phone. There's no tech in this. All it literally is a cut up room key put in a band, so it's convenient. And hey, I'm not complaining. It's good tech, but it's got a very low barrier to entry, and other people can get on this train really, really quick. But this is coming from a guy who literally has an implant right there in his hand. It's an RFID implant. I mean, in the hand. It's an RFID implant that I can do fun things with. Really cool feature, really innovative feature from a tech side, but nothing earth-shatteringly revolutionary. All right, so now it's time to talk about cabin technology. Virgin's actually done a lot of interesting things with the cabin technology. First off, featuring your band here. So you've got your band, and you've got this little sign right outside the door, which we are in 12034Z. Let's confuse it, but we'll go right here. I'm going to show you a little bit more with this sign in a minute. Lights up there. Now, just so you can see that sign, another piece of tech you've got, takes people some time to find this sometimes because it's buried, is you can actually, if you want to do not disturb, they don't have a do not disturb sign. You actually just click that right there. It'll go red. If I go outside, you'll see now it's red. Now, let's say you want to get your cabin made up. Instead of saying, make my cabin up, you click right here. This little international spill drink holder. Lights up blue. Go outside. Hey, it's blue. Now, here's the cool thing. When you hit that little blue button, it's actually letting your cabin attendant know that you hit that little blue button, because they all have little personal mobile devices, and it'll send them a little text message push notification if they're assigned to your cabin. It'll say, hey, they hit the blue button. So it's kind of cool. They can see that you hit the blue button, and they clean like magical gnomes. They come and they clean up. Now, the next of the innovations you don't see in standard cabins, it's not really technology, but it's kind of cool. You don't generally see in standard cabins rainfall shower heads, which is kind of cool. Now, you'll see you got right there. Now, I am not personally a fan of rainfall shower heads. Why? Well, because when I get in the shower, it kind of feels like I'm getting waterboarded. I hate to say that out loud, but that's why I'm not a fan of the rainfall shower heads, because when I get in the shower, it feels like I'm getting waterboarded. What I will say is I'm not seeing in here a plug. So I don't see a place you could plug in an electric razor. Mine actually has a battery, but I'm checking. Yeah, so I don't see a plug in the bathroom. The bathrooms are overall quite small. And that brings us to the next thing, which is plugs. Most cruise ships you go on, you got to bring one of these. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you the plugs. I bring this on literally every cruise ship I have. Welcome to the mess. This is my tech desk. This is an extension plug, because generally you go on a lot of cruise ships, you literally get one plug in the cabin. So you got to put an extension cord, and they say, don't bring extension cords. Extension cords are dangerous. Let's count the plugs together. We're going to count normal plugs. We're going to count USB plugs. Because again, plugs are a big part of technology. So we've got one 120 volt, one 240 volt, another 120 volt. So we're at 2 plugs right now, normal plugs. 3 plugs. Whoop. 4 plugs. And each of those plugs actually has USB outlets on them as well. So you've got USB-A, not USB-C. I wish they were USB-C, but they look modular. So when the ship gets dry docked, they're going to change it from USB-A, which is the big USB, to USB-C, which is the small USB. Now, we talked about Wi-Fi earlier in the video. What's really cool is every single cabin has one of those really cool Wi-Fi spots we talked about. Really cool, really expensive. Best of their kind at the time that they came out, Wi-Fi spots. So you got these very high-end Wi-Fi spots. You won't have a problem with Wi-Fi at all as far as signal in the cabin is concerned, because every cabin has its own Wi-Fi spot. Now, the last piece of technology we really need to talk about in the cabin concerns the television and room control. Now, personally, I would love to go, Alexa, turn off the lights. Alexa, open the curtains. Hey Siri, when are we getting to Bimini? It's a sea day today, but the Virgin Voyages app says we're in Bimini. As Elon Musk would say entering Twitter, let that sink in. But the TV is right here, and you'll notice, unlike everything else, it is not, there's no remote control. It says, see that shiny tablet on the desk? This is how you get the best out of your snazzy room tech. Again, I can't be like, Siri, turn the TV on. Siri, turn the TV off. I have to use this tablet, which is actually kind of cool. It's actually something really cool. I want to show you something cool about this tablet. Let's forget the tablet for a second. Let's say you forget your charger for any modern iPhone or any modern Android phone. For the tablet, there's a wireless charger. It's actually from Anker, and you can use this wireless charger to charge any modern phone out there. So, kind of cool. But let's take a look at the tablet itself. You'll see what this allows me to do. Gives me access to watch very limited number of TV channels. We got ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN8, the Ocho. Fortunately, they don't have the rag that is CNN. Sorry. This is, interestingly, this is a Republican-owned and run ship by Bain Capital. So they got Fox News and a lot of the other more right-leaning news stations. But we'll see Fox News. Click right there on my tablet. And you'll see Fox is on. If I wanted to bring the volume up or down, I can do it. Do it right on the tablet there. Boom. Now, the tablet also has some other useful features. Again, I want to kind of show you everything the tablet can do. So you can go from the app in your phone, if it's working, and you can say, hey, when we came, I'll show you, when we came on board, we're traveling not as a couple, just as friends. The beds are always together because they haven't figured out the pre-cruise tech of asking you, do you want your beds separated or not? So I have to go in the app when we came, and I told them to separate the beds. Now, there was no button directly to separate the beds, so the cool thing is I was able to chat directly with Sailor Services and tell them to do that. We're getting a little bit off task. On the tablet right here, beyond TV, you have a button that says Services. Click that button that says Services right there, and I can ask for fresh towels, cabin cleaned, bed, water, ice, laundry picked up, maintenance. If I hit water, I can choose both still or sparkling, and I can choose whether I want it with ice or anything like that. And again, this will send that little notice to your cabin attendant, or if your cabin attendant's off at that time, off the ship, off duty, to another cabin attendant who will take care of your needs. This has been really cool, really unique, everything like that. So you get entertainment, you've got services, and the last thing we've got on the tablet's actually really cool. This is room controls. Again, like I said, there is no voice assistant, unfortunately. So if you do room controls, so you want to control the room, you do have to have this rather clunky tablet. But if I'll click room controls right here, I can take the ceiling lights, turn them off, the ambient lights, turn them off, that little desk lamp in the corner, turn it off. It's all very responsive. I've got room temperature here and everything of the sort. But where it also gets really cool is you've got some different moods. So let's say you want to have, let's say last night was Scarlet Night and you partied a little too hard at Scarlet Night. Well, if I go ahead and I click on Hangover, it should give me the hangover mode. See, everything goes purple. If I want to get pumped up, I can hit on Pumped Up. It opens the curtains for some reason, and I guess gets me pumped up. If I want some zen, so I close the curtains and give me some zen. Let's say I wanted to do a photo shoot in the cabin, or if you are a Virgin Cruises pineapple friend, if I wanted to make an adult movie in my cabin, I could hit photo shoot right here, and it gets the whole room ready for a photo shoot, opens the curtains, and my absolute favorite mode, the one I like to show last, the reason the Virgin Voyages gives you so many condoms. I know, someone saw my bag because I go on Virgin Cruises all the time, like, why is your bag so filled with condoms? I'm like, Virgin just kind of throws condoms at you. It's called the Get It On mode. If I click right here, I click right here, and I click Get It On, the curtains close, and things get sexy. Plays the sexy music and everything like that. That is a quick look at the cabin tech on board the Virgin Voyages ships, and this is just for the cabin tech is the same in mostly all the cabins, but this is just a standard balcony cabin. And I do want to point out one more thing. You don't need to, like a lot of the newer ships, you don't need to have your room key in a little holder by the door to make sure the air condition and everything else works. But that is the cabin on the Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady technology. Alright, so I'm down on deck 5, as low as one can go on a port day. Oh, not a port day, on a sea day. Well, the app says it's a port day. It's really a sea day. We're not in Bimini day. But I want to talk about two pieces of technology, one that they do have and one that they can use to make things a little bit better on board Virgin Voyages. One of the coolest pieces of tech getting on and off the ship, not in Miami where you're embarking or wherever you're embarking, but in all the ports, they have the coolest gangway in the world. Now, why does that impress me? Well, because I'm a nerd. But they can set up a gangway in about 30 seconds. They can pull up inside a port and it's like, it's mecha gangway. And it's all one piece and it comes out like a snake and it's really quite cool. I really love that tech. You should be able to see some video of that. Unfortunately, I've never been able to actually see it moving. But I'll tell you where Virgin is kind of lacking there from a security side is there is newer tech called Evolve. It's something that Disney's using right now. It's a lot more efficient than what a lot of these other technologies using. Virgin has kind of airport-like security when you're coming back on from a port because, you know, people smuggling alcohol, smuggling whole legs of ham. I'm just talking from experience. Evolve is kind of like you just walk through it with you and your bag and allows it to scan you, and it's very innovative, very unique. It might be an interesting partnership for them to look at is something like the Evolve system, which is what Disney and a lot of other places are actually using right now instead of a traditional metal detector and X-ray machine.
In today's environment, venues and facilities must ensure public safety and public health. New protocols must be implemented to screen visitors and staff for both weapons and potential health threats, while maintaining safe social distancing. Traditional methods using metal detectors and bag checks are becoming a thing of the past because they force tightly packed lines and contact between guards and visitors. Imagine screening for both weapons and elevated temperatures in an integrated, touchless manner. You can, using Evolve Express with the Evolve Thermal Imaging Package. Powered by Evolve's Cortex AI software platform, Express instantly differentiates harmless personal items from threats, making it easy for guards and frictionless for visitors. Express enables a smarter venue by providing analytics for a range of operational decisions. This combination of sensors and software forms a platform that detects threats of today and the flexibility to add sensors and applications to detect threats of tomorrow. The Evolve Thermal Imaging Package adds a new thermal sensor and the Evolve TempCheck software application to Evolve Express, enabling screening of individuals for elevated skin temperature in an average of 2 to 3 seconds, followed by immediate touchless weapon screening, eliminating the need for multiple screening processes while maintaining a safe distance. Facilities can screen thousands of people per hour, providing peace of mind as visitors and employees return, knowing they've been screened for both weapons and potential health threats. The future of venue security is touchless security screening for multiple threats that gets smarter over time. Finally, venues can stop threats while assuring a welcoming experience. It's time to go touchless. Experience Evolve Express.
And just remember, there is actually a secret bar on board that they've never actually opened. I like to put this in all my videos at least once. It's on deck 4, right where you get on. It's called IV. And I swear to you, this is not a joke. There's a secret bar on board that's never been opened that is a medical bar that you actually take your drinks from IV bags. I know, in the times of the illness, you take your drinks from IV bags and urine specimen cups. They never did open it, but here's some video of it.
What's the bar called?
I don't know what this bar is called, actually. This is the first time I've seen it on display like this. It's very cute.
Oh, and the cup's a little specimen. That's a nice bar. So what they've done on this boat is there's not only big bars, there's little intimate areas of, and they've got lots of them all over the boat. There's no way that on a 5-day cruise you could cover the whole boat.
Never could get to every show.
No.
There's over 22 eateries. You can't even eat at every venue.
If you tried.
Yeah. But look at the infirmary seats of this bar.
I love that.
So this is a cool walkway.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we're out of the pool, and I always have a laugh at this. Everybody says the pool on Virgin is so small. The pool actually has a capacity of 14 people. This is the main pool, has a capacity of 14 people. I know this is a tech video, but that makes me LOL every time. So now it's kind of time to wrap everything up here. Now I am at one of my favorite places, which is literally right outside of the tiny little pool. Not really sure what this is used for. It's called The Scene. It didn't really have a name when I started. I think this is the closest thing to a conference room that they actually have on Virgin ships. here's the thing. Everything we've talked about today, the bad Wi-Fi, the cool stuff in the cabin, the app, all those things like that, don't take away from Virgin still being the best cruise line and my favorite cruise line in the normal price category. But I've talked to a lot of cruisers this week, and they've said their frustration with the app. They've said everything like that. A lot of people are not able to book, not able to get to shows, not able to go to different things, not able to get the dining reservations they want, and everything like that. Because guess what? Virgin doesn't communicate anything with you. They'll try and upsell you shore excursions and stuff like that, but they don't say, this is how you book on the app. Get ready, book on the app. They don't have a guide to the app. The app has no onboarding process. If you are watching this and you're a tech nerd, because guess what? I'm positioning this towards tech nerds. When you open the app for the first time, it asks you to sign in. There is no onboarding. It doesn't tell you what you need to do, what you can do, everything like that. Now, again, the Curtis Corporation, not really servicing Virgin much anymore, but I've had so many people come up to me and go, I'll read you some of the comments. They're saying that, they had problems with access keys when they were booking. The app was promising them certain things, and they didn't get it once they got on board. And, another thing with the app, I just want to say, is they're very good. If you go, you book a show, you book dinner, you book something like that, you'll get a survey a couple hours after you do it. It'll ask you how things are. That's actually brilliant. Problem is, I've had problems a few times, and they haven't addressed it on board. So, sometimes, as weird as it sounds, I know this is a tech video, but sometimes it's better to do things without tech. It's better to have a more basic way of doing things. Sometimes tech's not always the way. The cabin tech is great. The Wi-Fi is great. The app, ooh. But I think one of the most important things, yes, we're literally going from this nice quiet room called the Scene right next to the pool to right here, the actual pool deck with the bang bang and the boom boom and the loud music and the 14-person pool. So, the contrast there is so unique, is so different. But I think that the most important thing is Virgin is the best in their industry. I don't know if they're going to be an independent company for long, and we might do another video on that. But the tech is really a mixed bag. It's really a mixed bag. The app is not good. The Wi-Fi is fantastic. The fact that the Wi-Fi in the app and the crew experience and everything extend into Bimini is absolutely fantastic as well. But the main thing I gotta say is educate your customers. Your customers need to know what's there. To Virgin and to the customers themselves. Everyone I talked to that actually is having a good experience, you know what they did? They watched videos like this beforehand, and people told them, hey, these are the things that you got to do. These are the things that you got to watch out for. This is Richard from No Pants Profits, giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Virgin Voyages app. From the Virgin Voyages tech stack, sorry. The good, the bad, the ugly of the Virgin Voyages tech stack from the Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady on a sea day, which is not Bimini right now. Just saying. And much like Spider-Man, everybody's pointing to each other instead of just fixing the problems, much like the meme. But remember, if you're on a cruise ship once a month like I am, and you wear no pants like I do, the only thing you got left to lose is your shirt. Have a great one. Bye.